This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Eighths of a mile to go in the Starlet. Take Charge Brandy's been there every step of the way. Maybelline a half length back second. Majestic Presence 3 wide. Feathered is just behind them. Danette swings into action on the outside of Achiever's Legacy. Inside the quarter pole, Take Charge Brandy. Majestic Presence running a giant race on the outside into second. Feathered at the rail is in third, and then Maybelline fourth. They're coming to the 16th pole. Take Charge Brandy's trying to finish the job. Feathered's coming at her in a rematch. Take Charge Brandy. Feathered. Majestic Presence flattens out late. Maybelline just behind them. Take Charge Brandy in a thriller. Take Charge Brandy. Wire to wire in the Starlet.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Down the Stretch. I'm Mark Asano. On this morning's show, an Eclipse Award is clinched, and we will take a look at, well, possibly a future Eclipse Award winner. Then we will welcome in 3 special guests, 2 from the West Coast, beginning with Mr. Simon Callaghan, who has the recent maiden winner. This is kind of a fascinating colt, firing line for this afternoon's Los Alamitos Futurity, as well as Mr. Michael McCarthy, who will send out the supplemented No Problem in the Futurity. Then we will go to South Florida and welcome in Mr. Tom Albertrani, who has Smooth Daddy for this afternoon's Tropical Park Derby at Gulfstream. So all of that and more if you stay with us for this, our December 20th edition of the program. Good morning once again. A reminder for you, we will not be with you next Saturday. We will be taking a Saturday off for the Christmas holiday, so we will be back with you next on Saturday, January 3rd. So we want to, from all of us here at Down the Stretch, wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, as well as a safe and happy New Year, and we will see you next again on Saturday, January 3rd, 2015. All right, Eclipse Award consideration on the line in last Saturday's Starlet at Los Alamitos. And that is because of the presence of number 6, Take Charge Brandy, in front. A dramatic late-season form reversal led to her not only being favored in this race at 13-10, but a strong favorite to win the Eclipse for champion 2-year-old filly with a victory here. Now, how dramatic has her form reversal been? Well, consider this. After finishing 5th, and 8th, beating a total of 36.5 lengths in the Adirondack, the Pocahontas, and the Alcibiades, Take Charge Brandy shockingly won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies at 61-1, and then the Delta Princess. Wayne Lucas got her good and decided to run her while she was doing well. This being her 3rd race in just 6 weeks. And with Victor Espinoza putting her on the lead immediately from the gate, Take Charge Brandy would determinedly turn back pressure from number 5 Majestic Presence, then have enough left to hold off late runs from number 4 Feathered Inside and number 7 Maybelline from Between Horses to prevail by a half length. I think this win pretty much clinched a championship for Take Charge Brandy, an award which seemed nearly impossible on the morning of November 1st. Lucas said that she will winter at Oaklawn Park, where the 3-year-old filly series of races include the Martha Washington, the Honeybee, and the Fantasy. But this may be as dramatic a late season reversal of form from a 2-year-old as we've seen in quite some time. On our show of November 22nd, we took a look at an entry-level allowance race from Aqueduct featuring a promising, lightly raced 3-year-old by the name of Liam's Map. Well, last Saturday at Gulfstream, Liam's Map made his stakes debut in the Harlan's Holiday. Liam's Map is number 8 in here. Blessed with a great deal of natural speed, something which trainer Todd Pletcher will have to get him to learn to ration out, Liam's Map raced wide around the first turn in pursuit of early leader Chaba. The pace was fast, very fast, 22.85 and 46.25. So fast that Chaba would be eased while finishing last. Now, John Velasquez aboard Liam's Map knew he could put away Chaba at any time, but as soon as he made his move, Orlando Boca Chica aboard the hard-hitting Valid made his move. Boca Chica didn't want to let Liam's Map get a breather. And here's what's so fascinating about this matchup. Liam's Map, the 11-10 favorite, was making only his 4th career start, compared to the 21st for the veteran Valid. Now, while Valid isn't a world beater, he's a very solid Grade 2 winner. And here, with a perfect trip, had every opportunity to beat the lightly raced favorite. But Liam's Map was simply too good. He turned back a 2.5 furlong bid from Valid to prevail by a half length. Nobody else was a factor. Pants on Fire, a winner of nearly $1.5 million, was more than 5 lengths farther back in third. So I thought it was a very, very fine effort from both the winner and the runner-up. It appears at this point that Liam's Map will go next in the Grade 1 Don Handicap. All right, some news from this past week. We have been trying to get trainer Charlie Lopresti on the program for the past 2 weeks, but unfortunately, his schedule has not, been in sync with ours. Wanted to talk to Charlie about the current status of Wise Dan, how he's doing, what the likelihood of him having an 8-year-old campaign next year is. Well, according to Charlie, Wise Dan, who suffered a non-displaced fracture at the bottom of his right front cannon bone following the Shadwell Turf Mile, has been recovering quite nicely. Recent x-rays show the fracture nearly healed, and the prognosis for a return to the races in 2015 is quite good, according to Charlie and Dr. Larry Bramlage. Wise Dan is being turned out at Charlie's farm for the winter, but if things continue to improve, Wise Dan will be pointed for, in all likelihood, the Maker's Mark Mile in April at Keeneland to begin his 8-year-old season, and that is wonderful news. And Tom Durkin, who retired at the end of August, has received another honor. Durkin has been awarded the Special Eclipse Award of Merit for a lifetime of outstanding achievement in the thoroughbred industry. He is the first, I believe this is accurate, he is the first track announcer to ever win the award. Congratulations to Tom. And congratulations to old friends. The Thoroughbred Retirement Home has won a special Eclipse Award for extraordinary service or contributions to the sport. Congratulations. Michael Blauen runs Old Friends, and they do a wonderful job. Approximately 700 horses in South Florida will need to find new homes soon. Churchill Downs Incorporated, the owner of Calder Racecourse, has decided to develop a portion of the Calder backstretch, which would leave numerous horsemen and their charges without stall space. Now, it was hoped that this would be put off until the spring, but apparently Churchill wants to do this now. Happy holidays. Ride-a-Luke, a nice grass horse who is trained by Gary Contessa, has been retired. Ride-a-Luke won the Penn Mile and the Palm Beach Derby during his too brief career, while earning nearly $500,000. Ride-a-Luke, who could not handle soft turf, will stand in Chile. And Gourmet Dinner, who won over $1 million during a 34-race career, has been retired. Gourmet Dinner won the 2010 Delta Jackpot and has been retired to New Vocations, their adoption program in Ohio, as part of the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association's Take the Lead program. And Strathnaver, a Grade 3 winner on turf, who suffered an absolutely brutal beat in the Grade 1 Just a Game here in New York, has also been retired. Some trainer news this morning, and it is not particularly good news. New York-based trainer David Canizzo will begin the new year on the sidelines, as well as $6,000 poorer. Canizzo was found to have 3 positives for the painkiller Darvon, leading to a 45-day suspension and the fine. The suspension will run from January 1st through February 14th. Now, the 3 horses found to have used Darvon, 2 at Saratoga and 1 at Belmont, finished 1st, 2nd, and 1st. Now, the purse monies will be redistributed, so the owners are penalized, but bettors who wagered against these runners are obviously out of luck. And David Wells, the former trainer of Rapid Redo, who won 22 straight races and was given a special Eclipse Award in 2011, has pled guilty to 1 count of rigging a publicly exhibited contest as part of a plea deal with federal prosecutors. Wells, who will be sentenced on January 29th, could face a maximum of 5 years in prison for fixing a horse race. And finally, Honor Code, who was so impressive in his recent return to the races, has had his winter schedule changed. Originally being pointed to the January 10th Hal's Hope as a prep for the Don, Honor Code will now begin his 2015 campaign in the March 7th Gulfstream Park Handicap. Now, there is nothing wrong with Honor Code. Shug said it's simply a very long year, and he wants to start him a bit later. Honor Code, just a short time ago, had his first workout since his November 22nd comeback race. We just texted Shug. He got back to us and said everything went very, very well, and the horse is doing quite well. But folks, it is a very, very long year. And when you're coming back off an injury and recovering, Shug just thought, let me get him started a little bit later, keep him a little fresher, so we won't be seeing Honor Code until the March 7th Gulfstream Park Handicap. And we are up to our first break. When we return, off to Southern California, where we'll welcome Mr. Simon Callaghan. As we go to the break, the King Glorious Stakes for Cal-bred 2-year-olds. Why the King Glorious, you ask? Well, a combination. It featured an undefeated colt, number 3 Acceptance. And this was also the race last year, albeit at 7 furlongs at Hollywood Park, which turned me on to another pretty good Cal-bred, that being California Chrome. So we will take a look at the King Glorious to the break. Back with Simon Callaghan right after these messages.
And they're off. Klazuski, Comanche Ruler, the first 2 out. Acceptance comes away in 3rd, Palmerac on the outside. Then comes Mischief Clem, and P-Club is at the back. Into the first turn they go. It's Klazuski hugging the rail in front by 3/4 of a length. Comanche Ruler is in 2nd. Acceptance 1 from the outside. Palmerac went 4 wide around the turn. Mischief Clem, an eager 5th, only 2 off them, and then a very erratic P-Club at the back of the pack. Straightening away for the run down the backstretch, Comanche Ruler goes on to lead by a length. Acceptance gets the Dream Journey in 2nd. Klazuski is back to 3rd. Palmerac in striking range, only 2 lengths off the leader. And Mischief Clem just inside of him. Another 7, P-Club has settled down. They're a half-mile from home in the King Glorious, chasing Comanche Ruler, with Acceptance traveling nicely in 2nd. Palmerac in the clear on the outside, just a length back third. Mischief Clem takes fourth, Klazewski at the rail, back to fifth, and then P Club at the back. Less than 3/8 of a mile to go. Acceptance makes his move, immediately tackled by Palmerac. These two square off at the top of the stretch. Comanche Ruler could not keep pace in third. On the outside comes Mischief Clem, then Klazewski. They're heading to the furlong pole. Acceptance digging in gamely. Palmerac fully extended, but a length and a half behind. Klazewski rallying belatedly in the center of the track, but Acceptance opens up coming to the 16th pole. Turning away Palmerac. And Klazewski is closing, but Acceptance is perfect. The undefeated Acceptance strolls in the King Glorious. Palmerac second, Klazewski third, Mischief Clem was fourth.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
I'm Anthony Mormino, and after more than 30 years, HNC is moving. HNC and all your favorite OTB TV programming is moving from Time Warner Cable 12 to Digital Channel 8.2. Along with WXXA, you'll also be able to watch us on Comcast Cable 323, Midtel Cable 271, Mid-Hudson on 191, Verizon Fios 467, and Time Warner Cable on Channel 1250. For more information, log on to capitalotb.com.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Cassano, and Acceptance for Don Warren and Elvis Trujillo by 3 lengths over Palmerac and Kluzensky to win the King Glorious. It appears that the Cal Cup Derby likely the next start for the undefeated Acceptance. Our first guest this morning will have the fascinating recent maiden winner firing line going later on today in the Los Alamitos Futurity. We welcome back to Down the Stretch, live via telephone from Southern California, Mr. Simon Callaghan. Simon, Mark Cassano welcoming you back to the show.
Hi, good morning.
It's nice to have you, Simon. Let's talk firing line as our audience watches his debut. For our audience, he is number 3 in here. Going to break slowly and rally to finish second, beaten just a half length. Simon, talk to us about how Firing Line had trained up to his debut.
Yeah, no, he's a horse that we'd kind of always really liked. We bought him originally from a Breeze Up sale, where he always showed a lot of talent there, you know, which made us spend $240,000 on him. And, you know, he's the sort of horse that's always trained very forwardly, and it's always been a pretty exciting prospect.
You know, I'm thinking since he was, you know, this is a 12-horse field, and he's the 11-10 betting favorite that you expected him to run quite well.
Yeah, no, we did. Like I said, he had been training really, really well going into that race, and, you know, we expected him to, you know, to win or to at least run a very good race, and, you know, I think he certainly, you know, justified that. You know, he was slow out the gate that day and, you know, finished off his race really well.
Simon, often when first-time starters win and they speed pop a field, you know, they don't learn all that much. They were just simply faster and more precocious. But with Firing Line's situation in here, did he get quite a bit out of his debut?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think, you know, from an education point of view, I mean, I don't think you could have asked for a better debut. I mean, you know, winning first time out isn't, you know, always the most important thing. And, you know, I think, you know, to finish second, he just got a fantastic education, you know, took some dirt, you know, had to go through some horses. And, you know, I think he really kind of learned a lot from that first experience.
Well, here is his second start. This is his last start at Del Mar. For our audience, Firing Line is number 4 in here. Simon, he broke much, much better this day and won handily. You know, talk about this effort, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he definitely broke better on his second start. You know, still didn't kind of break on top. But, you know, I think, you know, that's probably always going to be his style, probably more just stalking, you know, the field. And, you know, he did everything you could really ask. I mean, he was around the inside and had to come through a couple of tight gaps, you know, and Mike just said, you know, he just relaxed great, and he was there for him whenever he wanted to ask him. And then coming for the home turn, he just wheeled around one horse and then just galloped out really good. And, it's exciting now to stretch him out.
Simon, the one thing, and Delmar has kind of a very wide shot, so it's a little bit difficult for our audience to see, but it appears that firing line in both of his starts, even when he broke slowly in his debut, as well as here when he's going to go on to break his maiden, it appears to me that he settles very nicely for the rider.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, actually, in the mornings he's a little bit more aggressive, and it's nice to see in his two starts. The one thing he's done is kind of really relaxed, and he's kind of been very tractable, and for the rider, Mike has obviously ridden him both times, and he just said he was just so easy to handle, and like you said, he kind of relaxed great, and he was there whenever he needed him.
Simon, take a moment to describe Firing Line for our audience. What's he built like physically, and how's he mentally to work with?
He's a very big colt, very good looking. He's just over 16 hands, tall, and to work around, he's a gentleman really. He's a lot of class, and he's just a really easy horse to work with, and just kind of a pleasure to train really.
You mentioned Mike Smith had ridden him in both of his starts, but you lose Mike today. He goes to Mr. Z. Is that worrisome for you?
No, not really. Mike, initially our plan with Firing Line was to wait and go for the sham. He trained so forwardly, out of his win last time from Delmar, that we kind of, then felt that this race was a realistic goal. And as I said, originally Mike was, we were going to wait for the sham, but in the meantime, Mike had given the call to Wayne Lucas on Mr. Z. So it was something that it was just one of those situations, which often is the case this time of year with 2-year-olds coming 3-year-olds. It's kind of a tough situation for which horse they decide to ride. But in this case, he'd given the call to Wayne, so he just was doing the right thing and honouring his call.
Firing Line will be making not only his stakes debut this afternoon, but his two-turn debut. Let's touch upon the stretch out. What do you expect from him? How do you think he'll handle not only the longer distance, but the two turns?
We're very hopeful that he's, this distance is going to bring out some improvement. 6.5 furlongs last time. He galloped out tremendously well. Pedigree-wise, his star won the Arkansas Derby, and his mother, Sister Girl Blues, was kind of a 9-furlong kind of filly, mile and an eighth. So, I believe that this, you never quite know until you actually, run the race and stretch them out. But, we've every confidence that the extra distance is going to be no problem for him.
I was going to ask you how he's been training and how he's coming into this afternoon's futurity, but you basically answered it earlier when you said you didn't want to wait for the sham. You wanted to run this afternoon because he was simply doing so well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we always like to just try to take one race at a time, and we were originally going to wait, like I said, but then he was just doing everything so well in between, that win, and we just felt that the horse was telling us to run in this race.
Realistically, Simon, do you expect Firing Line to develop into a special racehorse?
I think he does have every chance to do it. I hate making, big predictions because, it's now, the Firing Line has to show it to us and to everyone. And, that's the exciting thing of, this time of year. It's, you've got to run in these races. I mean, Dortmund's a very good horse. And, I think we're going to really give him a good race. And I think, to answer your question, I think he certainly can make into an exceptionally good racehorse, yes.
Well, Simon, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. All the best with Firing Line later today in the Los Alamitos Futurity, and want to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and hope that we'll be talking with you early in 2015 once again about Firing Line.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Simon Callaghan, everyone. And we are up to our next break. When we return back to California, we will welcome in Mr. Mike McCarthy. As we go to the break, the Damon Runyon for New York bred 2-year-olds. 2.5 to 1 favorite, number 3, St. Joseph. So we will take a look at the Damon Runyon to the break. Back with Michael McCarthy right after these messages.
And they're off. Good start for Rigo Minister, who hits the ground running and is right out after that lead. Possulicious comes away second on the far outside. Good Luck Gus with good speed, too. And also up there is Fleeting as the field races into the clubhouse turn. Rigo Minister tries to cut the corner and is the leader. Possulicious seconded outside. Fleeting comes on to be third. St. Joseph hard to handle. Fourth and toward the inside. Good Luck Gus is away fifth and on the outside. 2 lengths back to Throne of My Own, who settles into sixth. JC's Not Brown is on hold from seventh. Mason's Dream at the inside is eighth by another 3. Tis Quick, Kayla Luna. And at the back early is Bullheaded Boy, about 9 or 10 lengths behind. Meanwhile, Mason's Dream, something awkward there for rider Gabriel Saez, had to get situated. Nonetheless, has dropped back to trail the field. So down the backstretch run, 23 and 1/5 seconds was the quarter, 4.5 furlongs to go. Rigo Minister is the leader. Possulicious pressing this pace right along, second and outside. Those two out of the far turn together inside of a half mile to go. Good Luck Gus is honing in 3 wide on the far outside and third. Fleeting is fourth. St. Joseph is tucked away fifth and saving ground now fourth and starting to get going. Farther back, Tis Quick is winding up from the back of the pack and is flying on the far outside. Sixth, fifth, fourth, and about to be third with a big move on the far turn, and so too is Bullheaded Boy picking it up as well. Racing for the top of the stretch, Good Luck Gus comes away with the lead. Good Luck Gus off the turn, trying to kick away from Rigo Minister down inside. Tis Quick and Fleeting fighting on third and fourth, heading for the final furlong. Good Luck Gus is a leg-weary leader. Here comes Tis Quick continuing to close, and from the back of the pack, Bullheaded Boy is getting into it late too, but it is still Good Luck Gus digging in and holding on. Final try from Tis Quick and Bullheaded Boy on the outside. Good Luck Gus got there. 2-length winner on the line. Bullheaded Boy photos with Tis Quick for second and third, and Fleeting was fourth.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. My thanks once again to Simon Callaghan for having joined us, and Good Luck Gus for Rudy Rodriguez and Ruben Silvera overcomes a difficult post to win the Damon Runyon by a length and a half. Now, it appears that either the January 3rd Jerome or the February 7th Withers, both versus Open Company, will be the next start. One of them, of course, will be the next start for Good Luck Gus. I believe John Terranova's colt El Kabir, who shipped to Churchill and won the Kentucky Jockey Club in a close finish, is being pointed to the January 3rd Jerome. So it looks like Good Luck Gus will go next in either the Jerome or the Withers. Now, we are waiting for Mike McCarthy. We got his voicemail. So hopefully Julie will be able to reach him in the next minute or two. If not, we'll try to switch guests and go to Tom Albertrani. But for right now, again, since this will be our final show of the year, we won't be here next Saturday. We're going to take a Saturday off for the Christmas holidays. We will be with you next on Saturday, January 3rd, 2015. And down the stretch, as well as the entire OTB TV network, beginning on January 1st, will be seen on different channels. You know, I think this is an accurate statement, that the majority of our audience watches us on Time Warner Cable. And we have been on Channel 12 for a number of years, but beginning on January 1st, we will be going from the current Channel 12 to Channel 1250. You know, really, that's kind of a simple changeover. 12 to 1250 should be reasonably easy to remember. For those of you who receive a digital signal, we will be on WXXA Digital Channel 8.2. We will be seen on Verizon Fios at Channel 467, on Comcast at Channel 323. For those who get Mid-Hudson cable, we will be on Channel 191. And for those who get Mid-Tel cable, we will be on Channel 271. All of these moves beginning on January 1st. And again, we won't be seeing you until January 3rd, so it's kind of important. Again, I think most of you on Time Warner Cable from our current Channel 12 to Channel 1250. All right, our next guest will have no problem in this afternoon's Los Alamitos Futurity. We welcome in live via telephone from Southern California, Mr. Michael McCarthy. Mike, Mark Casano welcoming you to Down the Stretch.
How are you guys today?
Nice to have you, Mike. Before we get to no problem, you were the assistant for Todd Pletcher for a number of years. Tell our audience about that experience.
It was a very good job, about the best job you could probably have in racing. Wonderful opportunity, a lot of wonderful experiences, and obviously a lot of hard work. It's something I take quite a bit of pride in working for Todd.
Mike, did it make it that much more difficult? I mean, you know, that's about as solid an assistant's job as one could have with, you know, almost with numerous outstanding racehorses. Did that make the decision to go out on your own that much more difficult?
Sure. Part of my decision was family-based. My family's located here in Southern California. I've lived here the majority of my adult life in Southern California, bar my nearly 12 years working for Todd. My wife has a very good job here. We've got a young daughter. So in that respect, my family kind of took precedence. But I could have stayed in that job forever, yes.
Mike, what are some of the most important things that you've taken away from those years with Todd that you find yourself using now on a regular basis?
You know, racetrack is a 24/7 type of an atmosphere. Show up every day, work hard, treat every horse the same, treat your staff the same way, and try to get lucky in between, I guess.
It never hurts to be lucky. All right, Mike, we are about to take a look at No Problem breaking his maiden for $75,000 in his second start. And for our audience, he is number 4 in here. The debut wasn't so good. Talk to us about the debut. Was he desperately in need of that first race?
I think he was drawn down inside, made most of the running early. Race probably is a little bit better than it looked on paper. Got tired the last part, but still kind of kept on running a little bit through the lane. You know, time I thought 75,000. The spacing of the race, and he ran just well enough. Probably no one would pay much attention to him. So, you know, he's kind of a fighter, this horse. He doesn't win by far. Obviously, his second start, he won by, I think it was 4 lengths or something like that. He obviously won the Bob Hope. It was kind of a gritty performance. But mile in the 16th today, we'll see. We're in the deep end of the water, that's for sure.
Well, you bought him for 30, and you ran him here for 75. So even if he had gotten claimed, you're still out on him very nicely. But he really looked good this day as he's drawing away in deep stretch here.
Yeah, he was actually a RNA for 72,000 at OBS. in the spring. I've had a relationship with the owners of P&G Stable for a few years with Todd. They owned a very nice horse named Turbo Compressor. I became affiliated with them through him in their time here in California when he ran out here in California in a couple of states. So, I don't know. We're taking it. Sorry, I'm trying to get a horse tacked up here at the same time. Sorry. What's the next question?
Well, in a moment, Mike, we're going to have a shot of No Problem on the screen for our audience. Can you take a moment to just describe him for us? What's he like physically, and how is he mentally to be around?
He's a very nice horse to be around, high energy. Not a very big horse, probably not quite 16 hands. Very well balanced, out of an orientate mare. He reminds me a little bit of a horse named Shanghai Bobby, who's a bit on the smaller side, but very athletic. Horse has got a nice demeanor to him. Obviously, in his second start, he was able to go ahead and, in his latest start, he was able to go ahead and settle off a horse. So hopefully he gets to do that today.
Well, we are about to take a look at his latest start. He went from breaking his maiden for 75 to the Bob Hope Stakes in last. No Problem, number 8 in here for our audience. Upset at 17-1. Mike, talk about this effort, if you would.
Race at Del Mar was a little bit in the back of my mind after he broke his maiden. I thought he worked well at OBS on the synthetic racetrack. One of those deals when the horses seemed to be peaking, we thought we'd go ahead and take a shot. 17-1 that day. Outran his odds, and we got lucky.
Well, he certainly ran well, and, you know, they're heading to the turn now. But when I watched this video, because I did not see this live, he looked like he might be in some trouble in the lane, but he really fought on gamely. He looks like a game little colt.
He is very game. I thought he was in trouble as well. Horse came up alongside him, kind of bumped him a bit. Victor said it upset him, got him mad. He was never going to let that horse by. The horse at Daryl Vienna's came with a very good run. Lucky enough to hold on.
Victor Espinoza has ridden him in all 3 of his starts. What's Victor said to you about his progress?
You know, he was very surprised. He was able to step it up last time at Del Mar. Worked here the other day. Worked a half mile in 47-2, I believe, the other day. Victor sort of gave me the green light, said, let's go ahead and try him, see how he stretches out. He's doing as good as a horse could be doing. So, he's a little light on numbers speed-wise if you look at his form compared to some of these horses, but I'd rather find out now in a grade 1 for $500,000 if he can route or not.
Mike, he appears to be a very good gate horse with natural speed. What do you expect with the 2 turns today and the stretch out?
The way the race shapes up, looks like it'll be him, possibly Dortmund. I mean, you could make a case for a couple of horses ending up on the lead. I'm not so sure we need the lead. The way the racetrack has been playing at Los Alamitos, speed has been good. It's a bit of a tighter surface. We won't take anything away from him that comes easily. We'll leave that up to Victor.
You have supplemented him for this afternoon's futurity for $20,000. That seems to be a very intelligent decision because, I mean, even 5th place gets half of that back. So talk about the decision to supplement him this afternoon.
That was sort of our thinking all along, that if it came up light, we would take a hard look at it. I thought at one point there might be about 7 horses in there. Apparently Peter Miller chose not to run anything. The spacing was good. If somebody stubs their toe, he runs 4th. He picks up whatever we've supplemented him for. He runs 3rd. You make a little bit of money. You get a grade 1 placing. So it's a little bit more of a function of being a small field. It was our swaying factor to run today.
Well, Mike, we thank you for having taken time out of your busy schedule to have joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. We want to wish you all the best with no problem later on in the Los Alamitos Futurity. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we hope to be speaking with you again very soon.
Thank you, guys. I thank you for the opportunity. Happy holidays to you, too.
Thank you, Mike. Mike McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen, with no problem in this afternoon's Futurity. And we are up to our final break. When we return, off to South Florida, where we'll welcome in Mr. Tom Albertrani. As we go to this break, the Queens County in New York and the 6-5 favorite, number 5, Vijack. So we will take a look at the Queens County to the break. Back with Tom Albertrani right after these messages.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Percussion from the outside. A plain view. El Nawi down towards the rail. In mid-pack, it's a Vijack and Misconnect as they come under the line for the first time. Plain view and Percussion. And the two of them are heads apart for the lead. They've opened up a couple of lengths on Vijack and Misconnect. El Nawi down at the rail. Storm and Monarcho's on the outside. Then it's Don Dolce and a Micromanage. Those two are together, and it's 3 lengths to the trailer. Turco Bravo in 9th. The opening quarter in 23 and 1/5 seconds. The field has reached the backstretch, and it's long shot Plainview leading here by a half length over Percussion. A gap of 2, and the favorite, Vijack, is down at the rail, third by a neck over Misconnect on the outside. Then it's a break of 2 to Storm and Monarcho in 5th. El Nawi is 6th, followed by Micromanage, Don Dolce, and Turco Bravo. The half up in 47 and 2/5 seconds, and there's 4 furlongs remaining. And it is Plainview holding on to this lead here. Plainview by a little more than a length. Percussion in 2nd. Vijack well held down at the rail in 3rd. Misconnect is alongside in 4th. Micromanage is now picking it up on the outside along with Storm and Monarcho. 3/4 and 1/12 and 2. Vijack had to steady there midway on the turn. Here's Percussion now. Down at the rail is Plainview. Vijack looking for a way through. Widest of all is Micromanage. Misconnect is there. And Storm and Monarcho, the field in the stretch now. And it is a Micromanage up on the outside to grab the lead. Turco Bravo's putting in a late run. Vijack is looking for a way through as they pass the 8th pole. It is Micromanage. Then Vijack. On the inside, it's Misconnect. They come for the wire, and Micromanage has won the Queens County Stakes. Vijack 2nd, and Misconnect finished 3rd.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
We're moving. That's right, OTB TV is moving. Beginning January 1st, we'll be broadcasting in a full digital signal. All your favorite tracks now with a clearer picture and better sound. For more information, log on to CapitalOTB.com, and we'll see you there.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. My thanks to Mike McCarthy once again for having joined us. And Micromanage for Mike McCarthy's old boss, Ian Manny Franco, by a length and a quarter over Vijack and Misconnect to capture the Queens County. Our final guest this morning, later on this afternoon in South Florida, will be sending out Smooth Daddy for the Tropical Park Derby at Gulfstream. We welcome back to Down the Stretch Mr. Tom Albertrani. Tommy, Marcusano welcoming you back to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
Nice to have you as always. Tom, before we get to Smooth Daddy, I want to take you and the audience back to Breeders' Cup Saturday. You ran 2 horses who completely outran their odds that day, beginning with Better Lucky in the filly and mare sprint. As we pick it up for our audience, she is number 8, last on the rail at the bottom of the screen. Tom, this was a big, big effort to just miss. Talk about this performance, if you would.
All right. Well, that
really was a tremendous effort by Better Lucky that day. It was actually her last race of her career before going to be bred, and we kept thinking about the idea of turf dirt with her during the summer, and her race up at Saratoga, where she came from 20 lengths back in a listed race, really kind of gave us a little confidence going into the race, knowing that, she might have been taking another step a little bit over her head, but we felt that she always had it in her to run a big one, and she sure did. Just to come short ahead, that was just a tremendous effort on her part.
And if I'm not mistaken, Tom, her first preference was the mile on grass, which shows just how versatile she was.
Yeah, I think it worked out better. I did prefer, looking at later on, I thought she would have had a better chance maybe with the fillies, but, it was always the dirt angle you're looking at that you really get over it as well as we hoped for, and she did. So I think that was the right choice to make. We came close, and she's just been an awfully nice filly to have in the barn.
Yeah, she is not only versatile, but she's versatile at a very, very high level. I always hate to see an outstanding racehorse go and be retired. What went into the decision to retire her at this time?
Well, she actually stayed longer than I think most
mares
did. She's 5 now, so we just felt that it was probably time to send her home, and hopefully she'll produce something as good as she was.
Well, a few races later in the Breeders' Cup Turf, it was Twilight Eclipse, number 2 for our audience, 8th on the rail at the bottom of your screen. He would rally to finish a very fine 3rd behind a couple of world-class grass runners in Main Sequence and Flintshire. Tom, another nice effort by Twilight Eclipse.
Yeah, he's another horse in the barn that he's been truly amazing all year. He's been very consistent. He's come so close in his last year race to be second a couple times to Main Sequence, and he really came with another game effort in the Breeders' Cup. So what we're doing now is we're down in South Florida with him, and we're going to freshen him up a little bit, and we're planning on bringing them back in February, on February 21st, in the Mita Stakes that he started last year in.
And he is a horse who really prefers firm turf, doesn't he?
Definitely, yeah. He's definitely a turf horse. He managed to win a race on the dirt when it was taken off the turf at Calder one time, but he's definitely a turf horse for us, yeah.
Well, Tommy, that was a heck of a Breeders' Cup Saturday. Really, Better Lucky, 2nd at 23-1. Twilight Eclipse, 3rd at 19-1. Congratulations to you and your staff. They both ran exceptionally well. All right, let's talk Smooth Daddy. Nice, consistent 3-year-old season. Here he is at Saratoga, leading the Saranac field to the far turn. Ring Weekend, who is a really, really nice 3-year-old grass horse, is going to run past him. Talk about the progress Smooth Daddy made this year.
He's really progressed nicely. He's really, to me, he's just been improving with every race. From the time he won at Saratoga in the non-winners of 2 event, and he comes back and a second in the Saranac, and then the Hill Prince, another good effort, to beat in only a length and a quarter. So he's a horse that's definitely improving, I think, with every race. And, we gave him a little freshening before this race today, and I expect to see him come back and run a big race.
In a moment, we're going to have a shot of Smooth Daddy on the screen. Tom, would you take a moment to describe him for our audience? What's he like physically, and what's he like mentally to be around? How's he take to his training?
He's just a very good-natured horse to be around. He really does like his training. Just overall, just a nice horse to be around. Strong, good-looking horse. And, I just think he's just maturing, and when another year older, I think he could hopefully turn out to be another Twilight Eclipse for us. Who knows?
That wouldn't be too bad, would it?
Right, exactly.
All right, his last start came in the Hill Prince over a very soft course. And as we pick it up down the backside, Smooth Daddy inside in front. He's going to hold for third. Ring Weekend's going to win again. But, you know, Tom, in a lot of ways, I thought this was even a better effort than the Saranac because this turf course was so demanding this day. Talk about this effort, if you would.
Yeah, you know, I always felt that he was better on firmer ground, and it really was a testing track that day in the Hill Prince. He was able to, you know, get some easy fractions, and, you know, with the turf course as soft as it was, it might have been part of the track that the pace was that slow, but he really hung in all the way, only to get beat in the last few yards of the race. So I think if that was a firmer turf course that day, he may have been able to wire them that day. But, you know, today's race, if it sets up that way, you know, he's a horse that he's been on the lead of the last few races and bat an easy lead, and we don't have to be there, but we could see the same type of scenario maybe today.
But, you know, it's a bigger field today. There may be a little more early speed in here today. So in your opinion, I guess it's a multi-part question, does he have to be on the lead to show his best? You know, or can he rate just off the pace and still be able to show his best?
Well, in his earlier races, he has come off the pace by a little bit, and he won over this track last year where he did sit a few lengths off the leaders in the first stages of the race. So I don't think he's a horse that needs to be there on the lead, but I have a good feeling that he's going to be forwardly placed today. Whether the pace is strong, that's a different story, but if it's strong, we'll be sitting off the lead. But I think he's going to be forwardly placed today.
Now, his last start in the Hill Prince came on October 4th. Has this freshening been by design, Tom, or did something go amiss?
No, but by the time the Hill Prince ran, you know, we kind of already figured out a plan for the horse to give him a little time off, and we got him down to Florida pretty early November. So it was kind of a plan, you know, to get him down here to get acclimated a little earlier. And there wasn't really a whole lot of choices left in New York, especially with, you know, the weather coming around in the fall. So it was just by design that we took him down early.
Tom, what is the weather like in South Florida this morning? What's the forecast? Will Smooth Daddy be running over firm turf later this afternoon?
It's definitely going to be firm. We've had dry weather here for the last week or so, and it's a beautiful day and sunny in the high 70s. So it's just going to be a beautiful day and firm turf.
Oh boy, sunny in the high 70s, something we will not see here in upstate New York until probably May or June. Tommy, as always, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Thanks for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. All the best with Smooth Daddy later on in the Tropical Park Derby. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Mark, appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Tom. Tom Albertrani, ladies and gentlemen. High 70s and firm turf for the Saturday card at Gulfstream Park. Okay, one more time, since we won't be with you next Saturday. We're taking a week off to enjoy the Christmas holidays. We will see you next on Saturday, January 3rd. And on January 1st, things will be changing for OTB TV and Down the Stretch. OTB TV will be seen on new channels now. You know, for those of you who watch us on Time Warner Cable, we are moving from our current Channel 12 spot, which we've had for years, to Channel 1250. And you know, that's a pretty easy transition, really, from 12 to 1250. For those of you who watch and get a digital signal, OTB TV will be seen on WXXA Digital, Channel 8.2. We will be seen on Verizon Fios on Channel 467, on Comcast on Channel 323. For those who who have Mid-Hudson cable, we will be on channel 191. And for those who have Mid-Tel cable, we will be on channel 271. OTB TV moving beginning January 1st, 2015. I would like to offer my congratulations to track announcer Travis Stone. He is a young man who I believe grew up north, I think in the Schroon Lake area. Travis, who called races for years at Louisiana Downs, last year called races at Monmouth Park. This winter is substituting for John Imbriel from time to time at Aqueduct. Well, Travis yesterday named the new track announcer at Churchill Downs, so congratulations to Travis Stone. All right, let's wrap things up. Time to thank all the folks who helped get this week's show on the air. Here at the studios at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany, our associate producer Julie Hoxie, as well as Mick Richards. Back in the control room in Schenectady, Pat Peretta directed, Vince Westcott on audio. Thanks to our guests this morning, Mr. Tom Albertrani, Mr. Simon Callaghan, and Mr. Michael McCarthy. And as always, thank you so much for having joined us for our final show of the 2014 season. And because we won't be with you next week, we want to wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a particularly safe and Happy New Year. And we will be with you again on Saturday, January 3rd, when all of this year's 2-year-olds turn 3, and we will be closely following their progress toward the first Saturday in May. So, again, from all of us here at Down the Stretch, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to one and all, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.